Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Milwaukee Beer Review. As always, I am Josh, and today we have my wonderful wife with me. You want to introduce yourself real quick?
I'm Jenny.
Mr. Ross is unavailable this evening, so we said, hey, let's get a little video together and try some stuff that we've been waiting to try for a little while. So we've actually got a tasty trio of stouts here tonight from a little brewery called Untitled Art. Now, a little bit about Untitled Art. They actually started all the way back. Why did I say all the way?
I don't know.
Back in 2016.
5 years ago. All the way back 5 years ago.
All the way back. They're actually located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is near Madison. Interesting note about them, they actually share a tap room there and brewery with Octopi Brewing Company. We have yet to do anything from Octopi. I do have some of their stuff actually in the cellar right now, so look for an Octopi video coming at some point here in the near future. But today we're going to be focused here on Untitled Art. So Untitled Art kind of got started, the way that they got started in 2016 was they realized, hey, this craft beer market is a little bit stagnant, and they wanted to get into what they called truly crafting different beers. So the way they've done that is they brew a lot of their own beer, but they also partner and collaborate with a lot of other breweries, both in Wisconsin and outside of the Wisconsin area, to make some of the stuff here. And we've actually got some of that within this trio. So we'll talk about that when we get there. We did try some stuff from Untitled Art previously on this channel. Actually, if you go all the way back to our March Madness videos.
But not these.
Not these specific ones, but we did try some Untitled Art stuff. So link for those videos will actually be in the description here. So Jen, what are we drinking?
All right, so we're doing 3 different stouts that are either produced or partnered through Untitled Art. The first one here is a S'mores Stout, and then a Midnight Toffee Stout, and then the last one is a barrel-aged Exhausted Parent Stout that I saw at 3 Cellars in Menominee Falls and thought it would be perfect to buy since we are exhausted parents.
Yeah, we are exhausted parents, but I have to say, we are not the level of exhausted that a lot of parents are. We have one child who's 1, and she sleeps 14 hours a night.
She's a champ.
Yeah.
We're still exhausted.
I mean,
because we have full-time jobs and dogs wrestling that you can probably hear in the video.
They're literally straddling each other over here on the
carpet.
But she's sleeping right now while we do this wonderful, beer champion.
And Josh will insert pictures here, here, and here.
Do not commit me to this.
Of our beautiful daughter.
Oh, I thought you meant
the
dogs.
Who exhausts us.
Okay,
or
but anyway. All right, so what are we drinking first? Let's dive right in. So you saw us pour all these out. We're going to start with the S'mores Stout. So this first one here is actually a pastry stout. It was brewed with vanilla beans, cacao nibs, candy syrup, and milk sugar. So I think this is going to be a little bit sweeter in that pastry stout category, a little bit thicker, and comes in at the lowest ABV of the bunch at about 8%. So let's get a little nose here on the S'mores Stout. Ooh.
It smells really sweet.
That candy syrup comes through pretty heavily.
Candy is spelled C-A-N-D-I. Do you know why?
I have no idea why, but I'm guessing that's just the way maybe it's French.
I don't think it's French.
You don't think it's French? Oui, oui. There's definitely you get that stout character on the nose. There's definitely a sweetness there. It's very, very sweet, like we said.
I don't think I'd say s'mores, though, just smelling
There's almost like a caramely, graham crackery type scent on the nose.
Caramel, sugar. It reminds me of how that Dragon's Milk beer, the salted caramel beer, tasted.
Yeah.
Like kind of that syrupy, sweet smell.
Almost artificial?
A little artificial.
A little bit? Okay. I kind of get the same thing, but definitely sweetness. This one is not quite as dark as the other 2 stouts. I'm expecting, obviously, it to be a little bit lighter but in the body, but let's give it a shot. Cheers.
So I love Untitled Art because everything they try to do tastes spot on to what the name of the beer is or what their goal is. But this I'm not really getting. I get chocolate and sweetness. I wouldn't say that I get marshmallow or graham cracker though.
I get actually a little bit more marshmallow, I think, on the palate than I get caramel or anything like that. It is definitely sweet, but I feel like the body on this is so light that I barely qualify it as a stout. Like the body is so light on this that I'm just not getting a stout character on the palate with this, on the mouthfeel. Like it's just a little bit too light.
Yeah.
And then the other characters that you'd expect in like a s'more, like you said, the graham cracker.
I guess chocolate, I do get some marshmallow if I'm really reaching for it, but I don't get graham cracker.
There's like marshmallow at the back end of it a little bit more. Like it kind of lingers. I think that's that candy syrup that really kind of gets you on the back of the tongue and sticks around, but it's light, right? Loose interpretation. I don't want to say it's not a stout, but it's not what I expected. I have high expectations for Untitled Art, so
it's good. It's definitely drinkable, and the fact that it's
sure.
lighter, I feel like makes it more drinkable than a lot of these like really heavy dessert beers that we have, but it's still not, it just doesn't taste like a s'mores stout to me.
I agree. So what would you put this if you're rating it on a scale of 1 to 5 on Untappd?
Oh gosh. I mean, if I'm going based on no expectations, I'd say it's still like a 3.75. Like it's tasty and it's drinkable to me. But if I'm going based on like expecting a s'mores stout from Untitled Art, I'd say maybe a 3. Even that's maybe like 2.75.
So what are you actually putting it in there as?
So let's cut in the middle. Let's say 3.25. It's not what I expected, but it's still better than a lot of other, I think, dessert stouts that I've had. It's more drinkable.
I'm right with you. This is not my cup of tea. Probably because it's not a cup of tea. But I just, not as good as I was expecting. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not what I expected based on a s'more stout that I'm getting from Untitled Art. I'm putting it at a 3. I think it's right down the middle. It's not bad. It's not great. It just kind of is. So that's where I'm going to leave it.
I think, unfortunately, they do such a good job with so many of their seltzers and their beers that the grading scale, there's a little bit of a curve for them.
I agree. All right, so what are we trying next?
Okay, so the next one is the Midnight Toffee Stout, a collaboration with Angry Chair Brewing, which I don't know, did you look into where it's from?
I did not look into where they are from.
But this is a, let me see, an Imperial Stout with cacao nibs, vanilla beans, Belgian candy with an I syrup, and milk sugar.
So sounds very similar to the last one, except for it's an Imperial Stout.
And cacao nibs, then vanilla beans, as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, I don't know if the order it shows on the can is
You don't think so.
Who knows? But very similar to the last one, except this is an Imperial Stout. And this one comes in at 12.3% ABV, so bumping that up pretty considerably by 4.3%. So
all right,
let's get a little nose on the Midnight Toffee. Ooh,
it smells like...
You can smell the toffee. It smells like toffee to me.
It smells like a Heath bar.
Yeah, it smells like a Heath bar. Yeah, like that toffee note is
like
for
maybe
sure there.
a little like dark chocolate Heath bar.
Yeah, it's definitely darker. It's like a more pungent toffee note, though, I think mixed in with what you're talking about. I think it's very obviously toffee on the nose, which is a good sign. And the Midnight, I'm expecting this, to be a little bit darker, a little bit more syrupy, a little bit more full-bodied.
Syrupy?
Syrupy, is that a word? Syrupy? Syrupy? I don't know, whatever. Hey, let us know in the comments how you pronounce it here in Wisco. All right, well, Yeah, toffee and a little bit of Imperial Stout note, and the sweetness, I think, from some of those dark chocolate characters to it. So let's give it a shot. Cheers. Oh.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's really good.
That's a huge jump
Yeah.
from the S'mores Stout.
It's heavy.
Very.
And it's syrupy.
Syrupy?
Yes. Which I'm not as big of a fan of. I like when there's some carbonation to offset it, and there really isn't a lot of carbonation in this. So I feel like I can't even have like half a glass of this because it's so heavy. But it's tasty. It's just rich.
It's very rich.
It tastes like a dark chocolate Heath bar.
That candy syrup really kind of is there throughout the entire beer, like front end to back end. It's fully there. The toffee note is there more on the back end, but it definitely comes in to the beer towards the back end, and that there is definitely a dark chocolate character to this that I actually really enjoy. This is
Like
heavy
right off the bat.
for sure. This is heavy though.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that if you're diving into this. That
It's very smooth though. It doesn't, you get a little bit of the burn, I guess, at the end, but it's very smooth. It doesn't taste like it's a 12.3% Imperial Stout.
agreed. I mean, and there's no alcohol in this. This wasn't barrel aged or anything, so I wouldn't expect.
There's alcohol in it.
Well, sorry. There's no additional alcohol not produced by the brewing process in this. So that's a good clarification, actually. It's good. Honestly, I really like this, but I have to be in the mood for this. This is not a, hey, I'm having a party, let's bust out the Midnight Toffee Stout.
This is a dessert beer.
Untappd, I'm probably putting this at a 3.75. I think it's really good. I feel like this is more in line with a pastry stout than an Imperial Stout, but I think the ABV puts it up there. Really good beer. I just don't want to quite put it into that 4 category, but it's solid.
I actually think I'm doing a 3.5.
Really? Okay.
Just because it is so heavy, it doesn't have the carbonation to balance it out. Like, I feel like I'm going to have trouble finishing this.
Yeah.
Because it's so heavy and rich. It's really tasty, and in line with almost every other Untitled Art beer that I've had, it fits the description perfectly, but it's just really heavy.
Yeah.
So,
but good stuff. Alrighty. So up last, we have that beer for those exhausted parents, like supposedly us. So this one is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout. So what barrels this was aged in, I have no idea. I don't even know what type of spirit these were aged in. It does not say on the can. I tried to find it online. So Untitled Art, if you're watching this, let us know in the comments what type of barrels this was actually aged in. I might be able to tell once I take a sip.
probably not.
Maybe we'll. Oh, thanks for the confidence boost. This is what happens when couples do these together. Although Ross and I are kind of like a couple.
You guys are a couple.
So this is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout. This is actually a collaboration with the Chocolate Shoppe Ice Cream store, vendor, shop, place. They're actually a Wisconsin ice cream vendor. They actually make some really, and restaurant. They actually make some really good ice cream here in the state if you haven't tried it before. That makes me really interested to try this because I have a feeling it's going to be very full flavored if this has some type of collaboration with them. So this is actually brewed with espresso beans. So we're going to get a little bit of a coffee note on this, cacao nibs, and milk sugar. So again, barrel-aged iteration of an Untitled Art Stout collaboration with the Chocolate Shoppe, and this one comes in at 13.7%. So
yeah, and I think this was modeled after, if I remember this correctly, the Chocolate Shoppe has an ice cream called Exhausted Parent that I think is like an espresso or coffee ice cream with like chocolate chunks or something in it. So that's where the flavor profile comes from.
The espresso would make a lot of sense when you're talking about exhausted parents and what they need. So that would make that I'm glad you pointed that out because I did not know that. All right, so let's get a little nose on the Exhausted Parent Stout. Oof.
Oh, there's a lot of coffee. You can definitely smell the espresso.
I'm really not getting a lot of coffee on this. I'm actually getting bourbon. I'm pretty sure this was aged in bourbon barrels.
Are you just saying that?
No. No, I'm not just saying that.
I get
prove
coffee.
me right, Untitled Art. Prove me right. I'm really not getting...
Amateur opinions.
Yeah. I'm actually getting I'm getting a chocolate note with the bourbon. I'm not getting a lot of espresso on the nose.
I get chocolate and coffee.
There's a little bit of coffee bitterness on the nose, just a little bit mixed in there. But I get mostly...
I get some...
I get mostly...
Bourbon
and chocolate on the nose. Let's give it a shot. Mm-hmm. Cheers. You can say cheers back.
Cheers. Ooh.
Yeah, that's tasty. Mm-hmm. It's definitely bourbon or whiskey, but most likely bourbon.
So you can tell by, I mean, it's not much, but even just a little bit of head that's left, that there's more carbonation in this than the other ones. And it definitely balances out the heavy stout. This is really good.
This is a really solid barrel-aged stout. I will say, similar to the nose, I'm not getting a lot of coffee on this. Like, I don't know if you are on the palate. You are?
I am.
I'm not getting a lot of coffee. And I don't know if it's going from the midnight toffee to this that's causing me to not get the coffee notes.
Because I definitely get more bitterness that I didn't get with the other ones.
Yeah, I think it's there, but it's pretty subtle. Like, when I hear espresso, I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a pungent coffee note to this, and it's not. It's very blended in my opinion, in this beer.
Yeah,
it's not
I think
prominent.
it's well blended, but I still taste it.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, this is a fantastic beer. If you handed this to me and you said, hey, here's a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, check it out, I'd be like, this is solid. This is decent. What I like about it is that the barrel notes, like the oaky, roasty, like that kind of smoky flavor is not there. It's kind of hidden, and the bourbon character is there. The bourbon notes are there, but it's very blended into the rest of the beer.
It's just a little boozy.
It's a little bit boozy, but
not much.
But very drinkable. Like, this isn't like a punch you in the mouth, like bourbon, you know, oh my God, I hate whiskey. There's no way I could drink this. I hate bourbon. There's no way I could drink this type beer. So this is very, very easy to drink. Where would you put this in Untappd?
I put this at a 4.
Okay, that's good.
like it. It does not taste like it's 13.7%, which is kind of dangerous, but it's very smooth. It delivers what the description says it is. The heaviness and the carbonation are balanced, and it's really drinkable. So I'd say it's a 4 for me.
I'm not going to shy away from you on that. I think a 4 is a really good score for it. I'm going to go right with you at a 4. I think that's a perfect score for this beer. It's not one of the best barrel-aged stouts I've ever had. I've definitely had better, but it is a solid beer in that category. It's really, really well done. So nice work, Untitled Art. And nice job collaborating with Chocolate Shoppe on this. Turned out very, very nicely. Alrighty, so that's our special little episode here for Untitled Art. Glad to finally do some Untitled Art stuff, kind of, you know, exclusively here on the channel. So exciting. I'm sure plenty more to come here in the future. If you're looking for any of this stuff, we bought all this stuff locally, either at 3 Cellars. Actually, I think everything was at 3 Cellars. At 3 Cellars.
Check out 3 Cellars. Yeah, check Menominee Falls and Oak Creek. It's a great store.
3 Cellars in Menominee Falls is my pit stop. It is literally next door to my daughter's daycare, which is way too convenient, way more convenient than I want to admit. So really, really good stuff. I'm glad to share this stuff with the community. So check us out on the rest of our social media channels. We're on Facebook, we're on Untappd, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're obviously here on YouTube. Let us know what you think about these beers if you've tried them right here in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon. You'll get notifications when we release new content. We're doing that weekly at this point, sometimes a couple of times a week. So we've got a lot of great holiday content coming, a lot more stout videos. Get used to the stouts because there's going to be a ton of it here with Black Friday coming. And we've got some adventures on our hands to collect some of that great Black Friday beer. So stick around. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you in a future episode. Thanks, everybody.
Don't you dare fucking put that in.
What?
Nothing.
You going like that? It's almost for sure going to be in there now. All right. In 3, 2, don't move the paper.
It's my paper.
It's both of our paper.
Oh, I didn't realize.
You don't have your own script? Shit. Okay.
I'm just moving it up.
All right, fine.